Okay, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining our little, actually normally weekly happening Treasury governance call. Last week I had to skip for I had to do other stuff. But we're back now, and um, as always, we are trying to give you a good overview about how things are progressing in the Treasury governance project. This is all about the first vote about build versus burn, where the community will be asked to decide about the fate of a quite huge amount of tokens that are left over from the early days of the project. And you will soonishly will have a chance to do a vote on that. And I'll like to explain you how this all works, how voting works, and what are the important topics around this thing. As always, if you have questions, please just speak up during the call. Um, you can also post questions in the governance discussions channel. We'll try to look it up and answer it after my little introduction. But whenever you hear something that you absolutely don't understand or you want to know more about it, just hop in and speak up. Um, Otherwise, I'm sometimes getting into a kind of a monologue here, and then I'm always happy if somebody disturbs me in my little show here. Um, Again, today agenda is quite similar like the last calls. I'll because I see we have maybe 2-3 people that haven't joined calls recently, or I haven't seen them actually. So I'll do again a little bit of a recap and an introduction how things are actually planned to work with Firefly, with voting, introduce a bit about how the technicals behind the thing work, and um, then giving some updates on Firefly. Um, Maybe we can talk a bit again about the governance forum, where we had a pretty interesting post by Dom a week ago for Shimmer, and it's something that might be really useful also for this project while we process to do things in a bit better and or more organized way in a forum style thing instead of having this channels in Discord that sometimes things get lost here. And so we can see how everybody likes it. And then as always, in the end, so this will be like maybe 15-20 minutes, and then there's really a lot of time for you to ask questions, to make suggestions, to figure out whatever you want to know about the vote or the use technique or the tokens or all the stuff. The only thing I can't give you is an ETA when we will actually vote. That's, no ETA policy in the foundation still, but I'll try to give as much as possible information that I can. Okay, any questions so far? Is anybody happy with this or yeah? Okay, I'll go through the basics. So we are talking about here about something that actually started nearly a year ago. Yeah, so we are now middle of April. We had end of April 2021. We had the big update for Chrysalis, where we, let's say, removed all the old useless stuff and moved IOTA to a much better working protocol, upgraded nearly all libraries and everything, and upgraded to a new mainnet. And in this upgrade, there was also something introduced. The IOTA Foundation introduced the opportunity for the community to take um, control over a quite huge amount of tokens. In the moment, it is something above 50 TI tokens that are um, left over from the absolute earliest days of the protocol, from the initial token sale to the crowd, and from the first upgrade of the supply of the IOTA tokens. This all actually happened in 2016, so a couple of years, and there are some tokens left over that have never been picked up by their owners. Yeah, so people had bought in with US dollars or I think Bitcoin actually, and they they needed to kind of claim their tokens, but they never did it, and so those tokens have never been removed from the initial seed, and never changed ownership to anybody. But now is the time to decide if those tokens should be removed from the IOTA ledger. So basically, the total supply will be reduced, or if those tokens will be transferred into the control of the community, and the community can actually use those tokens that are unused, lying around, never been claimed, never been owned by anybody, and use these IOTA tokens to do good stuff for the IOTA ecosystem, for the community, and for everything that would actually help IOTA to reach its goals and to improve development and ecosystem interactions and all stuff the community would like to do. So there's a vote planned, and we are actually working since June 2021 on making this vote possible. There have been so much discussions around the things. I mean, we have hundreds, I think maybe even 1,000 people from the community contributing to this project during this time. And we have therefore developed a voting system because we had nothing of this, yeah, and we had to start from scratch to figure out how we can actually vote in IOTA or with IOTA, how we would want to vote, what is technically possible in the moment, as long as we don't have smart contracts and things like this. So there's some limitations from protocol side. And then the community developed all the options and the node software and stuff like this. And so since then, we actually are nearly every week in meetings here together, a changing group of people that drive this um, to make it possible. Um, the vote actually will happen once Firefly is ready. This is actually the only last remaining step um, that we are waiting for to be able to vote. Yeah, you might have seen that Firefly is undergoing a lot of changes in the moment, and so while staking and all things are of course priority, one of the next priorities for Firefly is voting, and so we are nearing. Again, I say it, we are nearing the vote, and things look really nice. And then you will do a vote using your Firefly wallet and using the IOTA tokens that you own. Basically, technically, voting is nearly the same thing as what we are doing in the moment with staking. Yeah? Where if you have participated in the staking, you know basically how it works, I think, because in uh, in staking, you do the same. In staking, you give a signal. So you sign a transaction with your tokens and you signal that you want to stake your IOTA tokens for assembly. Yeah? And the nodes register this, and you are getting distributed assembly tokens on a regular basis every 10 seconds. And we have taken this, actually, this functionality was uh, developed with voting and staking in mind. So it's very, very similar. While voting, it will happen the same. You are doing a transaction with your IOTA tokens. And during these transactions, you are signaling that you are voting for either the option burn or you vote for either the option build. And the nodes in the network, again, register that your tokens are used for this decision. And then somebody, can you please mute yourself? Wait, Norman, I'll mute you. Yeah. Okay, yeah, and so while you signal your opinion, the nodes in the network are registering your opinion, and then every 10 seconds, you will accumulate votes based on the amount of IOTA tokens that you hold. There are two options that you can choose from. Yeah, so the one thing, we call it burn. Yeah, burn would mean that these 50 TI tokens will have to be removed from the ledger. They will have to be by the nodes, by an update of all nodes in the network. Um, they will have to be actually really excluded from the ledger. The token supply will be reduced so that those tokens can never be um, accessed by anybody. In the moment, they are in a kind of a limbo state. Yeah, so the network has decided that these tokens are in the moment not accessible by anybody. This is what the nodes um, did do during the Chrysalis update. And so in the moment, nobody has a private key to these tokens. Nobody controls these tokens. And to be able to make the option 2, which would be build possible, those tokens would then need to be moved into the control of the community. So there would be an address needs to be created, and the node operators would also need to make an update that allows this address to be spent again. But this address, of course, shouldn't be in the control of a single person or something. So build actually would mean that the community has the allowance and the decision is taking to develop a system that would very likely be a DAO, a system of smart contracts that would allow decentralized control over these tokens. Yeah, so not that a single person would be in control over such a huge amount of tokens. No, the smart contracts would control this treasury, and things can only be spent from this treasury by decisions of the community through voting. And this is the envisioned thing that would happen once the community would decide to build. Um, then a process will start where anybody that is interested to contribute, but I know we have some core contributors that did already work on this the last couple of months, start to develop a governance framework and tools and smart contracts to control those tokens. And once we have smart contracts on the IOTA mainnet, those tokens would then be transferred by the node operators into the control of such a DAO. And from this time on, the community can then decide what they want to do with those tokens. They can send them to projects they want to support. They can, whatever, pay for anything with it, use it. Um, it's absolutely free then, because then it's always going to be happening on decisions made by the community. The voting itself, like I said, it is going to be announced as soon as we know that Firefly is ready. And then we will make a blog post. We will put up some Twitter tweets to inform everybody when the date of the vote will happen. The voting itself is divided into two time frames. We have a first time frame, we call it the voting open period, which is a kind of a commencing period where you will have 7 days time to make a decision. So you will have 7 days time to use your Firefly wallet and say, okay, my tokens should vote for burn or my tokens should vote for build. So you don't need to rush. Everything, anytime during this 7 time frame is okay for you to just open your Firefly wallet. It's a really easy process. It should happen. It should take you a minute or two to do this. And then you have voted actually. And then once everybody has done this and the 7 days time has passed, a 10 days period will start. And in this 10 days, your tokens will start to accumulate votes. And so every 10 seconds that your tokens are sitting in your wallet and signaling that you are voting for a certain option, new votes will be generated and will be kind of written in a database in the nodes to your addresses. And so this means that you can reach the maximum amount of votes only if you hold your tokens the full time of this 10 days on the same address, signaling, okay, I'm voting for build or for burn. Yeah. yeah, so this is a time-based system that allows us to reward those that hold tokens over a longer time and that not just buy some tokens quick. You have a question? Or anybody has a question so far? One, two, three. No. Okay. So I continue.
I think it was just somebody who didn't have their mood on talking.
Okay. Yeah. So like I said, it's a time-based thing. We want to avoid people using, let's say, huge amount of capital buying on an exchange some $100,000 of IOTA token, use them to vote, and then 10 minutes later send them back to an exchange and sell them again and then buy them again, come back, do another vote. So this would be a form of possible manipulation if we would not have such a time-based system that requires a long time. This means actually that if you hold your tokens only 10 minutes in a vote, you will earn only a very small fraction of the possible votes that that you could generate with the amount of tokens you hold. Yeah? Basically, also we know that most IOTA community members are kind of long-term holders. We have seen it while staking. We had 76% of tokens staked or 72%. So that's quite a huge amount. But still, we want to be ready to and prepared against any malicious actors that would try to influence this decision and want to give really the voice to the long-term holders and the long-term community that anyway have the tokens sitting in the wallet and also sitting in staking. Important for you to know is also that staking and voting will not influence each other. So you can stake and vote at the same time. You can also only vote or only stake. You can begin to vote and then stake later, or you can already be staking and then vote later. It is completely independent and will not influence each other. And yeah, so it's also not locked or anything. It's the same with staking. Yeah, so you are flexible. You can send your tokens away. You can add new tokens if you buy more during these 10 days. You can just merge them together with the already existing tokens, same like you do it with staking. So if you come so if you're voting and you think, oh, there's a great NFT I want to buy now, do it. Yeah, buy the NFT and then later just re-vote, and you will only lose a very small fraction of your votes during the time that the transaction for the NFT buy will happen, and then you can just re-vote and it will continue to count. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, begets so it resemble a little bit like the Cardano voting systems where you can actually post your vote. And is that kind of like the same structure that you guys are putting in? Okay.
Can you just repeat the beginning? There was some, I don't know, some strange sound, so I didn't get the beginning of your vote with Cardano. The beginning of your question.
Yeah, I sure do. I was just asking if this voting system resembles the Cardano's voting system, where it sounds so similar. I just want to just want to be very clear. It's kind of the same thing, so I don't make any mistakes. Not yet.
In Cardano is, I think the thing in Cardano is a bit different because in Cardano your tokens are, as far as I remember, your tokens are locked. So because in Cardano you normally vote with the tokens that are locked in the staking pool. Yeah. So and you are normally not able to remove the tokens on your own will. Um, we have looked into a lot of different voting systems, and actually what we did is we took a bit of a inspiration by stuff that is done by Polkadot, because Polkadot has this has this also this time-based commitment. Yeah. So in Polkadot, it is the longer you hold your tokens in a vote, but there you have to lock them. The more votes you gain, so you get a multiplier in Polkadot. We took it a bit different because we didn't want to require such a long holding period like you have it in Polkadot, or such a long locking period. But it's a system that is used by several protocols in a similar way. I don't know if they do it exactly like us. The cool thing I think in ours is that we don't need to lock tokens in a smart contract. Actually, because we don't have smart contracts yet, so we can't do it. Um, so it's really very, very flexible, and you are able to all the time move in and out. I don't know exactly if this is also possible in Cardano, because I think in Cardano it's always the tokens that are actually staked, and then they are actually locked with a validator usually. But I'm not 100% exactly familiar with how Cardano does it. Yeah. But like I said, we had a lot of time, and we did a lot of research in most of the projects out there, and took inspiration from several projects, because there's a lot of good things happening out there. But there's also some things that if you really look from an outside view, you will figure out that some things are maybe over complicated, over designed and things. And on the other hand, as we are not able to use smart contracts, we are a bit limited on the functionality of how we can do it. Yeah. So we also envision that once we are able to use smart contracts, we will develop a different voting system. Yeah. This token-based voting is great. It's very, very, very secure. It's Sybil protected. But I actually envision that the IOTA community comes up with different ways of implementing identity and all kind of other things. But for this, we will probably really need to wait until we have a decision for a DAO, and then can develop a voting system that is a little bit more complex and gives more options for us. The counting is maybe also something I can mention. We have a lot of node operators, we have a lot of community node operators, and we want this decision to be very, very distributed and very, very decentralized. So it's not something that you and everybody needs to rely on the nodes that are run by the IOTA Foundation. Every Hornet node operator will be able to participate in the counting of the results. Hornet has a built-in plugin system. It's called the participation plugin. And so if you are running a Hornet node, you will be able, in the time before the vote starts, to implement the voting event in your Hornet node. And then you will be able to produce the result. And we will use this ability to actually, in the end, have a big comparison between all the community nodes. Your node will produce the system, the result. Your node will also be able to be queried over an API call during the node at all the time. So you can also publish your current count and things like this. And in the end, your node will give you a checksum of the result, and then we will compare all the checksums of the nodes in the network and see that hopefully everybody comes to the same checksum, which means we'll come to the same result. Okay, was this? No, this was not a question, I think. What else? This, I think, was most of the stuff. Yeah, this is again what we said. This is like time-based. You gain vote over time by building up and accumulating. Every 10 seconds, you actually generate new votes. And so the longer you hold the tokens that you own, the more of your perfect 100% voting weight you will be able to acquire. The cool thing is also that this is now a functionality that will stay in Firefly. So this is a part of the protocol now. And once this first vote has happened, Firefly and the nodes will be ready to do more votes. And this is open to the community. So if you have a community project and you actually want to ask all IOTA token holders about their opinion and you want to give them a vote in your project and make a decision, you can create own voting events. You can upload them to your own custom nodes or to some community nodes, and then you will just need to tell the voters to which node they have to connect, and then they can take part in the decision making of your project, of your process. So that's kind of, I think, something that will be used once it's ready by projects, by the community. You can do it for whatever. You don't, of course, you don't need to ask everybody, and I think not everybody will always participate in all these decisions, but it's now part of the protocol, and I'm also sure we as the IOTA Foundation will use this in the weeks and months after the first vote, because there's a lot of decisions coming up that needs to be taken. And as long as we have then a voting system, so actually, why not use it to ask the IOTA token holders what they think about certain topics and what we should do. Yeah, so this is definitely something that will stay and that will be also improved with time, of course, to make a really nice voting system out of this. Bang! I think this was basically what I wanted to tell about voting. Do we have some questions in the call? Anybody wants to know some more details about what I've been talking about?
I have a question. So, anybody could put up a vote. So if I put up a vote, does everybody see it, or I need to present it to the
Yeah.
community on the Discord server, and
Yes.
they can only see it if they connect to my node?
Yeah. You need to inform this. Yeah. So this is not something that Firefly will automatically do, because Firefly um, is basically, first of all, connected to the IOTA Foundation load balancer nodes. So if you have a project and you want to have the community voting on it, you need to make this vote public. You would need to tell the people actually to which node they need to connect. You can have a manual node selection in Firefly, and then once they have connected to your node or to your nodes, and those nodes have this event ID uploaded, then Firefly will display it, and Firefly will display all the, let's say you have a text field, you can put up a question there. Let's say, I don't know, should overclocked get 10 IOTA from every voter, and you can put it up, and then you can put up, as far as I know, Firefly will be able up to six answer options, where they can choose one of six or one of two or one of three or one of four, depending how you set up such a vote. But this will be possible. You just need to really give instructions to the community to which node they need to connect, so that Firefly can display this for them.
So the votes that will probably be in every wallet will be the IF votes and maybe the official DAO votes.
Yes, yes. So basically, yeah, for what we envision it now is the first vote and then the follow-up votes that are needed to come. So if there would, let's say, there would be a decision for build, um, and then actually the community will need to come up with some decisions along the way how this DAO for keeping the treasury should be structured. And these votes definitely will be displayed in Firefly for all users. But I think we are kind of open to requests if the community, or if there's a big movement in the community. Um, I'm sure we can also, I don't know, we have to talk with Firefly and the Hornet team then. But yeah, in general, the main IOTA Foundation nodes will display those big important community decisions. Yeah, and but the node selection is quite simple in Firefly. So the cool thing is also that we, with the new deep link functionality, we will normally be able uh, to pass instructions. So if, let's say, um, uh, you have a vote coming up and you want the community to build, so you don't need to do it very cryptic that you put up the address. So you can actually create a deep link which then tells Firefly to which node it needs to connect, and then the people can cast a vote on your thing. So I think this might not be there directly after the first vote, because this is again a task for a later state of the Firefly development. But this is envisioned to work like this, to make it pretty user friendly and community friendly, so that you can just um, put a deep link up there which tells Firefly what to do and to which node to connect for this vote. Okay. Anybody else got some question? Um, I could also. So I think basically that's it. Firefly is in a state of, let's say, actually they wanted to start this week with testing. I don't know if they started it today with the alpha testers. You know, we have two groups of community testers. I think it might come up today that voting will start to be tested in the alpha tester file, group. And from there, normally after the first last bugs, it will move on to beta testers, which is a bigger community group. And once they are satisfied, then it will be ready for the next release. And once we have this, then actually we will publish the date, we will have a blog post, we will have a tutorial where it's exactly explained how voting works, and all this stuff will come out as soon as we have a final date from Firefly once it's ready.
And you got to make sure. I just want to put this in. We
Yeah.
got to make sure they're on the other side of things, right? That there's not been any changes that are going to affect what's been happened to what Adam and my team has built, right? So
Yeah.
that needs to make sure that that's all in place.
Yes. Yes. That's the thing. I think, mind, the concepts are, there haven't been changes in the concept itself. Yeah. So the only thing
Just
is
need to
kind of,
reconfirm, right? Just we
yeah,
just need to like go
yeah,
through the checklist just to
yeah,
make
yeah.
sure.
No, soon as we kind of are really starting with the testing, we're gonna spin up another meeting with our fantastic Firefly and Soon Labs team and figure out that everything is still as
Yeah.
planned. Yeah, because we also have gonna have a website. Actually, we have already a website online that explains more about the vote, gives some background infos, and also on this website you will be able to vote. Starting from the website with a deep link. This website will also be used as to display the, the results during the vote, like the ongoing count and maybe some statistics and things like this. And this is all built by the Soon Labs team, which has been let's say one of the driving forces and an incredible help for the community over this last 10 months. Yeah, I mean, we kind of all kicked off this whole thing together here, and Greg and his team and Adam and everybody have been amazingly helpful in developing this whole idea and this whole technical back end of the vote together with Firefly. They are kind of the architects of the structure around this, and so super happy that they have been supporters from the first minute of this thing, and build some of the background technologically stuff, the website and the things that will be used by the community is built by them. And so we're gonna align, of course, to make sure that everything works.
Yep.
What else?
I'm just always paranoid, just want to make sure we test our stuff. Is there was any change?
I know you guys are pretty good in stuff, so you kind of, no worries.
Yeah, we'll be fine. Just
Yeah.
measure
Yeah.
twice, cut once. Yeah.
Yes. Um, What else? I thought I'd bring up this topic again, maybe shortly. We have our new IOTA governance forum, govern.iota.org. I would really like to invite you all to use it, to have a look on it first. I mean, some of you might know it from before, where it was called, how was it called? IOTA Cafe. It was kind of the research forum for the researchers and for the mathematicians and the scientists, and it is still there. So it's still, of course, also a research forum, but we added all kind of governance related topics there. And so if you have a proposal, if you want to change something in IOTA, in the upcoming Shimmer or assembly networks, and we really want to establish a community process of proposing things, discussing things, coming to decision, do, let's say, polls and votes to get a temperature check in the community. And then once things are proposed and laid out and defined in such a forum, we can move them then also to on-chain voting in the Tangle using the Firefly wallet, or later on, once we have smart contracts, of course, have cool, really fancy DAO voting techniques with all kind of new stuff that we're going to develop. But have a look on the forum. There's a great post by Dom about the denomination of Shimmer, and if we're going to should use commas, if we should stay with the current known system that we know from IOTA with TI, GI, and things like this. And it's great to see this discussion already happening in the post of Dom. And so really use it. It's open for everybody. You can register there with your Discord account and just put up a proposal for something that you find important and invite the community there to discuss things. I think it will be working better than Discord, which with so many channels, sometimes things get really confusing. And here there's a place for everybody to go into longer discussions, more detailed discussions about topics, and just really to put it up there. Have a look, check out what's going on there, and if you have a good idea, just post it there and invite the community to discuss it and participate there. Yeah, that's what I wanted to bring up. Okay.
Yeah, I was just going to. You going to cover more stuff, or you?
No, I think I got now already. I talked already over half an hour. So
Well,
for
I
my
just
side,
wanted. I just saw that while we were having this meeting, they announced the staking. So
yeah, actually, this is. I didn't know if they were coming it in time.
yeah,
So
it's out.
you
Yeah,
will
so I thought I'd
see
just let you
that
know.
we have a little Easter egg. So assembly staking will continue after Easter. I think Tuesday, yeah, or
Yeah, the
Thursday.
19th.
Yeah. So the waiting time was not too long. Actually, it took some time to make all things fixed now with Firefly. But you will be able to continue stake your IOTA tokens from now on until the assembly network launches. You will receive rewards all the time. So just keep your IOTA tokens sitting in the wallet. Like I said, when the vote comes out, you can just vote and nothing will change with staking. So no worries with this. Yeah, and have fun gaining those precious assembly tokens in your wallet. Cool. Anything else we want to talk about? Anything that you want to bring up, guys? Questions, topics to discuss?
Right.
Huh?
Sounds like it's
Sounds
a
like
wrap.
I I talked them all into their sleep again. No.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
we got to just get on to the next phases. So we're just
absolutely.
having
It's
this.
like I
Yeah.
know it's like for all of us it's the same. It was quite a waiting time now. But
Mm-hmm.
like the Firefly engineers, they are detailed and they are like they would never release anything that doesn't work perfectly. And so let's be happy that we'll have such a great wallet and such an excellent developed wallet with kind of really no issues, no funds, no reattaching and all this stuff that happened. It's just you have to see it's just a year ago where we were sitting with a protocol there that barely did barely did function. Yeah, and it's really, really great to see how far we have come in a year. We have a flourishing ecosystem. We have dozens, hundreds of projects building quietly or not so quietly, or already working and using IOTA and preparing for all the cool stuff that is out there and that is happening over the next couple of months. And I'm really, really impressed with the progress we have made with IOTA, with the protocol, with the community, with these amazing projects out there. Yeah, and if you think the IOTA Discord is a bit quiet, you know what's going on? It's like there's so many other discords of projects out there. I mean, you only have a couple of hours per day if you're not employed by the foundation to do crypto and IOTA related stuff, and so it's really great to see um, the activity in the other projects and the communities building in these other projects, and so it's just this is how it's got to be. Yeah, so things are happening all around, projects are popping up, opportunities are popping up for the community, and so it's really amazing to see this. And once IOTA delivers all the things that we are waiting for, things will start picking up. Yeah. So if nobody else has anything to say,
Hey,
or
I
to
do
mention,
one last. I want to just
yeah,
say one last thing. Um, for those of you that attend the Americas user group meetings on Thursday this evening, it is not gonna. It is canceled for this evening. So anybody just heads up. I put it out there, but just so people know, it won't
it's
happen tonight.
anyway close to Eastern. I think a lot of people
Yeah,
might be
right.
traveling to visit a family
Yeah,
for the
that's already.
weekend.
That's the
Yeah.
response I got. Yeah. So
Yeah, so no
yeah.
problem. Give a little bit time out also to Greg. He's doing so many meetings a week and so many community things happening. So no worries to drop one of those meetings.
Only
And
the second one in a year. So the other one was at Thanksgiving. So
yeah, that's a good thing.
Mm.
Cool. Okay, so I
Yeah.
say thank you, everybody. Like I said, if you couldn't join from the beginning, this meeting was recorded. I will upload it over the Easter weekend to our YouTube channel. I post the link here in Discord and also in Twitter, so you're gonna find it. And thank you very much. It was great to talk to you again, and see you next. Oh, let's see you next Monday evening for the US
Mhm.
ones into a very, very interesting Twitter space, because we're gonna have Andy from Bottler Distribution. He's asking to showcase his really, really interesting governance structure around his organization that he's doing with his company. And that's going to be a really interesting thing. It's going to be happening on Twitter. For Europeans, not a really good time, like 2 o'clock in the night, but US based and Asian based people hop in the Twitter space. I'm going to post it
It's
in my.
actually very. I mean, I've gone through it
Mhm.
with him. It's
Ah,
really novel.
it's a great
I really like it.
it's a great
Yeah,
concept. Yeah, I really, really like it. Like when I saw the concept first, he shared this paper is really, really cool idea. Yeah, so that's going to be
it
super
is.
interesting. Yeah.
It's such a cool idea. It's kind of DAOish. But it's
Yeah,
just a way of maybe a new
it
sharing of profits and everything amongst
yeah,
every employee,
it's
which is so
so
cool.
yeah, it's so in between DAO and corporate thing,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a generous idea and I really love it. I'm really curious.
Totally.
Yeah. And what else? Then next Thursday we're gonna have this call again, same time, 3 p.m. Berlin time, with hopefully more news about Firefly. So thank you all very much, and
All
see
right.
you next week. And
Thanks, Holger.
wish you nice Easter holidays for those of you that celebrate it. Bye bye.
Bye bye.